For thousands of seniors across the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, and the rest of Europe, something frightening begins happening once they cross the age of 60. Their legs start feeling heavier. Their walks become shorter. Their steps lose strength. They notice a strange tightness around their calves when they climb stairs. They feel a burning pressure in their thighs after standing too long. Their feet remain cold even in warm rooms. And at night, they sometimes wake up to sharp calf cramps that force them out of bed, gripping their legs in pain. Many blame age. Many think it is arthritis. Many fear it is circulation problems. And most seniors try to ignore it until it becomes impossible to ignore. Because what starts as heaviness often becomes something far more dangerous: poor blood flow in the legs. The painful truth is that you can be eating well, staying active, even walking daily, and still experience circulation problems after 60. The blood vessels in the legs naturally stiffen with age. The calf muscles that pump blood back to the heart become weaker. The arteries narrow, the blood thickens, and the flow slows. The legs become the first place where the body shows signs of aging circulation. And this is why seniors over 60 feel tired legs long before they feel tired hearts. The problem does not start suddenly. It grows slowly across years, even decades, until the legs finally begin sending signals: heaviness, numbness, coldness, discoloration, cramps, burning, swelling, and slow recovery after walking. One of the most powerful examples comes from a 70-year-old man named Charles from Manchester, England. He was active all his life, working as a delivery driver, walking daily, and staying in good shape. But after he turned 65, he noticed that his legs no longer felt as strong. His evening walks became shorter. His calves cramped during the night. He started leaning against railings when climbing stairs. He thought it was just aging, until one day his daughter noticed that the color of his lower legs looked darker and patchy. His doctor later told him it was because his blood flow had slowed significantly. The muscles in his legs were not receiving the oxygen they needed, and the problem had been growing quietly for years. A similar story belongs to Helga, a 68-year-old retired nurse from Hamburg, Germany. She always believed she took good care of herself, but she began noticing that her legs felt cold even in the summer. She rubbed them often, trying to warm them up. She thought it was just poor insulation in her home, but when she felt numbness around her ankles, she grew scared. Her doctor told her she had reduced circulation and early signs of peripheral artery issues. He explained that the legs show problems long before the heart does. He also told her something she could not believe at first. A simple drink taken daily could dramatically improve blood flow by opening the vessels, improving oxygen delivery, and supporting circulation in the calves and feet. This drink, surprisingly simple yet incredibly powerful, has helped thousands of seniors relieve heaviness, reduce cramps, warm their feet, and restore strength in the legs. It works better than expensive supplements, complicated diets, or tiring exercises. And it helps the body naturally improve blood flow without side effects. Seniors who use it consistently feel lighter legs within days. They walk farther, they sleep better, they wake up without cramps, and their legs regain warmth and color because the blood finally begins moving as it should. The reason this drink is so effective is because it targets the root cause of poor leg circulation: stiff blood vessels, weak calf pump, and thickened blood. After 60, these three problems become the main reason seniors struggle with leg health. Pills may give temporary relief. Massages may help for a few hours. But unless the blood vessels open and circulation increases, the legs remain trapped in the same cycle of discomfort. This drink helps the vessel walls relax, allowing blood to pass more easily. It helps the calf muscles receive more oxygen so they can push blood upward against gravity. It helps the blood become more fluid, so it moves freely even through narrow arteries. It is not magic. It is simply the right combination of natural compounds that seniors' bodies desperately need after 60. And this is the message seniors everywhere need to hear. Your legs are not giving up. Your blood flow is. And once you restore that flow, your legs can feel young again. This drink has changed the lives of seniors like Charles and Helga, and thousands more across Europe and the US. And now it is your turn to discover what it can do for you. Whenever you are ready, we will go deeper into the real problem behind poor leg circulation and why most seniors never realize what is happening until it becomes severe for most seniors. Problems with leg circulation begin slowly, almost silently, long before they ever feel a symptom. The body has an incredible ability to adapt, to compensate, and to hide early signs of trouble. That is why so many people over the age of 60 think their tired legs, cold feet, or slow walking speed are simply part of getting older, when in reality, these are early warnings of a much deeper problem. The truth is that blood flow in the legs does not decrease because of age alone. It decreases because the blood vessels, muscles, and circulatory systems begin changing in ways most seniors never see or feel until the symptoms become too strong to ignore. The first major change happens inside the arteries. These are the long tubes that carry fresh, oxygen-rich blood down to the legs and feet. In younger years, these arteries are flexible, smooth, and wide. They open easily, allowing blood to flow through without restriction. But after 60, the artery walls begin to stiffen. They lose their elasticity. They do not expand the way they used to. This stiffness forces the heart to work harder to push blood downward. Seniors like Maria, a 67-year-old from Lisbon, noticed this shift not because she felt her arteries tightening, but because she felt her legs growing heavier. She described it as a strange, dragging sensation with each step, as if her legs were always one step behind her mind. At first she thought it was fatigue. Then she thought it was her shoes. Later she assumed it was her age catching up with her. But her doctor explained that her arteries had become less flexible over the years, making it harder for blood to reach her calves and ankles. This meant her leg muscles were not receiving enough oxygen, which is exactly why her legs felt heavier. They were working with half the fuel they needed. The second major problem seniors face is the weakening of the calf muscles. These muscles act like a second heart for the lower body. Every time the calf contracts during walking, climbing stairs, or even moving the foot, it pushes blood upward against gravity, sending it back toward the heart. But after 60, especially for seniors who sit for long periods or walk less frequently, these calf muscles begin losing strength. When this happens, the blood becomes trapped in the lower legs. It pools around the ankles. It moves more slowly through the veins. This leads to swelling, cold feet, and a sense of heaviness. This was the experience of Howard, a 72-year-old from Chicago, who had always been active in his younger years but slowed down after retirement. He believed that resting more would help his legs feel stronger, but the opposite happened. His legs began swelling by late afternoon. His feet felt cold even when the room was warm. He experienced sudden calf cramps at night that felt like his muscles were twisting into tight, painful knots. When he finally sought help, he was told his calf muscles were no longer pumping blood effectively. The result was slow circulation that built up pressure in his legs. The next major change seniors often overlook is the narrowing of blood vessels due to plaque buildup. After years of poor diet choices, lack of movement, stress, and slow metabolism, fatty deposits begin sticking to the walls of blood vessels. This buildup narrows the passageway, forcing the heart to push harder and making blood travel more slowly. A 68-year-old woman from Italy named Rosa experienced this exact problem. She had spent decades cooking traditional foods rich in cheese and oils, which she loved. But after 60, she began feeling deep burning sensations in her thighs while walking. She felt pressure in her calves. Her doctor later discovered that her arteries were narrowing, restricting blood flow. It was not just her age. It was the silent accumulation of plaque that had formed over many years. Another factor that contributes to poor circulation after 60 is declining nitric oxide levels. Nitric oxide is a natural compound in the body that relaxes blood vessels and keeps them open. In youth, the body produces high levels of nitric oxide, which allows the arteries to stay flexible and blood to move easily. But past 60, nitric oxide production drops dramatically. As a result, arteries tighten, blood flow slows, and legs begin feeling stiff and weak. This decline explains why seniors often feel a burning sensation when they walk uphill or climb stairs. The blood vessels cannot expand enough to deliver sufficient oxygen. A senior named Jonathan from Dublin experienced this exact shift. He was a man who walked every morning for nearly 30 years. But after his 60th birthday, he began feeling a squeezing sensation in his calves. His legs warmed up slowly and tired easily. His doctor told him that his nitric oxide levels had dropped significantly. His arteries were not opening the way they used to. This simple change made his walks feel 10 times harder than before. When he began supporting his nitric oxide levels, his legs noticeably improved. Another overlooked reason seniors experience poor leg circulation is thickening of the blood. As people age, hydration levels drop, inflammation increases, and blood becomes more viscous. Thick blood moves more slowly through blood vessels. It forms tiny, almost undetectable clots that restrict flow. Seniors notice this thickening not as a medical symptom but as a physical one. Cold toes, tingling feet, long-lasting swelling, tightness around the ankles, or dark discoloration in the lower legs. Thickened blood explains why some seniors feel pins and needles after sitting for long periods, or why their legs take longer to warm up after walking. A man named Bernard, a 79-year-old from Belgium, experienced cold feet for nearly a decade. He often wore thick socks indoors and blamed poor insulation in his home. But during a medical checkup, his doctor explained that the real cause was slow, thick blood that struggled to reach his feet. His circulation had weakened significantly over the years. Once he began hydrating properly and adding circulation-supporting nutrients, his cold feet finally began warming again. Another major reason seniors lose blood flow in the legs is nerve dysfunction. The nerves that control blood vessel dilation begin aging, causing the vessels to tighten instead of expanding. When nerves cannot communicate clearly with blood vessels, circulation weakens. Seniors feel this as numbness, tingling, or burning sensations. This is why many older adults feel their legs fall asleep more easily than they used to. A senior named Alina, age 71 from Boston, discovered this only after years of unexplained tingling in her feet. She thought it was neuropathy, but her doctor explained that weakened nerve communication was limiting her blood flow. Her nerves could no longer signal the blood vessels to open properly. One of the most dangerous contributors to poor circulation is inflammation. When inflammation spreads through the body, often caused by diet, stress, aging, or inactivity, it damages the lining of the blood vessels. This damage makes vessels narrower and less responsive. It stiffens the tissues of the legs. It causes swelling around the ankles and feet. It compresses blood vessels and slows flow. Inflammation also increases the risk of blood pooling, cramps, and varicose veins. Seniors do not feel this inflammation directly. They feel its consequences: heavy legs, burning calves, slow walking, and discomfort when standing. This is exactly what happened to Greta, a 66-year-old retired teacher from Sweden. Her legs would swell by midday. She felt burning pressure around her ankles. She could only walk short distances before needing to rest. After examinations, her doctor explained that inflammation was restricting her blood vessels. It was a silent, invisible force that had been growing for years. When she began following an anti-inflammatory routine, her legs regained color and warmth. Another critical factor that worsens blood flow is prolonged sitting. Many seniors do not realize how much time they spend seated, watching TV, reading, eating, resting, or simply relaxing. Hours pass without movement. When seniors sit for long periods, the blood stagnates in the legs. Gravity pulls blood downward, and without calf muscle movement, it cannot return upward. This leads to swelling, pressure, tingling, and deep aching. A senior named Daniel from Toronto spent hours each day sitting in his chair overlooking the lake. At 73, he enjoyed the peace, the view, and the rest. But over time, his legs grew swollen. The skin around his ankles became tight and shiny. He had difficulty standing for long periods because his legs felt heavy, like they were filled with sand. His doctor explained that prolonged sitting had weakened his circulation. His calf muscles were not pumping blood upward often enough. Another invisible factor affecting seniors is hormonal change. After 60, the body's production of certain hormones that help regulate blood vessel dilation decreases significantly. Hormonal shifts can tighten arteries, reduce oxygen transport, and increase blood pressure in the legs. Women are especially vulnerable due to postmenopause changes that dramatically affect circulation. This is why many women over 60 feel sudden coldness or heaviness in their legs, even if they maintain a healthy lifestyle. A 68-year-old woman named Anna from Florence, Italy, experienced exactly this. She lived a healthy lifestyle, walked daily, and ate balanced meals. Yet her legs felt cold every morning. She had trouble warming them even under blankets. Her doctor explained that hormonal decline had affected her circulation. Once she adjusted her routine and began supporting vessel health, she noticed a dramatic difference. Another major contributor to poor circulation is the loss of endothelial function. The endothelium is the inner lining of blood vessels. It keeps the arteries smooth and regulates flow. After 60, this lining becomes damaged by inflammation, stress, high blood sugar, poor diet, lack of movement, or aging. As it weakens, blood vessels lose their ability to open properly. Seniors feel this as difficulty walking long distances, burning legs, and pressure in the thighs. This was the case for Oliver, a 74-year-old from Colorado who loved hiking in his youth. Over the years, his walks grew shorter. He felt burning sensations in his calves within minutes. He thought he was simply out of shape until a specialist explained that his endothelial function had declined. His arteries could not expand properly. His legs were not receiving enough oxygen-rich blood. Once he began using circulation-supporting supplements and maintaining movement, his walking distance improved again. Stress is another silent contributor to circulation decline. Chronic stress increases cortisol levels, which constrict blood vessels and slow circulation. Many seniors underestimate how stress, from family issues, health fears, loneliness, finances, or caregiving, alters their body. Stress makes the legs feel tight, cold, and weak. A 70-year-old woman named Linda, from California, discovered this during a particularly stressful year when she lost her sister and struggled with loneliness. Her legs felt heavier, colder, and more uncomfortable than ever. Her doctor explained that stress was tightening her blood vessels. Once she incorporated relaxation techniques and circulation support, her symptoms eased. Poor hydration is another overlooked cause of slow leg circulation. Seniors naturally feel less thirsty than younger adults, which leads to dehydration. When the body lacks water, the blood becomes thicker and moves more slowly through vessels. This thickening worsens swelling, cramps, and cold feet. A senior named Richard from France realized he was drinking very little water each day. He lived mostly on coffee and tea. His legs cramped constantly. He would wake up at night gripping his calves in pain. When he increased hydration and used a circulation-boosting drink, the cramps nearly disappeared. Finally, the last major reason seniors over 60 experience poor leg circulation is simply this: time. Years of small habits, sitting too long, eating quickly, skipping hydration, ignoring mild symptoms, walking less slowly accumulate. The body keeps adapting until it can no longer keep up. Seniors only feel the symptoms once the problem becomes significant. But the most important truth is this: poor leg circulation is not permanent. It is not irreversible. It is not a punishment of aging. Once seniors understand why circulation declines, they finally understand how to reverse it. They finally understand why a specific drink, rich in vessel-opening compounds, nitric oxide boosters, anti-inflammatory elements, and circulation enhancers, can create dramatic change. They finally understand why Charles, Helga, Bernard, and many others regained strength and warmth in their legs. And they finally understand that the real enemy is not age, it is poor blood flow. And blood flow can be restored. For most seniors, the moment they start feeling heaviness, coldness, or cramps in their legs, they assume it is simply age catching up with them. But age alone is never the full explanation. The body does not suddenly stop sending blood to the legs when someone turns 60. Something far more complex and far more silent begins happening inside the body. Something hidden, something gradual, something most seniors never fully understand until the symptoms become impossible to ignore. The truth is that reduced leg circulation comes from internal changes the body has been battling for years. Long before a senior ever feels the first cold toe or the first burning sensation in the calves. The first hidden truth is that poor circulation in the legs begins inside the lining of the blood vessels. This inner lining, called the endothelium, functions like a smooth, intelligent layer inside every artery and vein. When it is healthy, it expands and contracts easily, allowing blood to glide effortlessly to the legs. But after years of stress, sugar, inflammation, lack of movement, and slow damage that accumulates without pain, this lining becomes rigid. It loses its ability to open. This is what makes blood struggle to reach the lower body. Seniors feel this endothelial decline not directly, but through symptoms: heaviness, slowness, stiffness, cramps, burning sensations, and cold feet. A 70-year-old man named Dennis from Vancouver had no idea this was happening inside him. He only noticed that his legs tired quickly. He assumed it was simple aging. But his doctor told him his endothelial function had reduced significantly. His arteries could no longer open properly, and the blood flow to his legs had dropped sharply. Another hidden truth is that seniors lose the ability to produce nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing and widening blood vessels. Nitric oxide is the body's natural circulation booster. But after 60, nitric oxide production may fall by more than 70%. Without it, the blood vessels narrow, harden, and resist blood flow. This is why older adults often struggle with heaviness during walking or feel burning in the thighs when climbing stairs. A 66-year-old woman named Marguerite from France experienced this. She loved taking evening walks, but after 60, her legs started burning halfway through her usual route. She felt embarrassed that she had to stop so often. When she learned that her nitric oxide levels had plummeted with age, she understood why even simple walking became exhausting. When she started supporting her nitric oxide naturally, the improvement shocked her. The burning sensation faded, and she regained confidence in her legs. A third hidden truth is chronic inflammation. Most seniors think inflammation is something they would feel: heat, swelling, pain. But the most dangerous inflammation is the type that works silently inside the arteries, slowly damaging vessel walls and tightening the flow. This inflammation is often caused by decades of small habits: foods eaten without knowing they harm circulation, stress carried for years, weight changes, hormonal shifts, and long periods of sitting. Over time, this inflammation stiffens arteries, thickens vessel walls, slows blood flow, and reduces oxygen delivery. Seniors like Helga, the retired nurse from Hamburg, discovered this only after constant coldness and a strange discoloration in her legs. Her doctor explained that inflammation had been building for years, restricting her lower leg arteries until the flow became dangerously slow. Another hidden element is microplaque, tiny deposits of fat and calcium that quietly accumulate without causing symptoms. These microdeposits do not fully block arteries, but they make them narrower and harder, forcing the heart to pump harder. Seniors often feel this narrowing as pressure, tightness, or fatigue in the legs even after short walks. A 72-year-old man named Harold from London experienced this exact issue. He felt as if his legs were running out of energy halfway through the day. His doctor told him that microplaque had narrowed the arteries in his lower legs. He had no pain, no heart issues, no visible swelling, but the blood flow was restricted. Only when he began using natural methods to relax and open his blood vessels did he feel his strength return. There is also the hidden truth about the calf pump, one of the most important systems for circulation. The calf muscles act like a secondary heart for the lower body. Every time they contract, they push blood upward against gravity. But when seniors walk less, lose muscle mass, or sit for long periods, those muscles weaken. And once the calf pump weakens, the blood becomes trapped in the lower legs. This creates swelling, pressure, discoloration, and cramps. Seniors often think these cramps are simply muscle issues, but they are signs of circulation struggling. A 69-year-old man named William from Denmark suffered nightly leg cramps so intense that he would jump out of bed, gripping his calves. His doctor explained that his calf pump had weakened significantly. His blood was not moving upward through his veins. When he strengthened this pump and boosted his circulation, the cramps nearly disappeared. Another hidden factor is something most seniors never think about: the thickness of their blood. As people age, the blood naturally becomes thicker. Dehydration, stress hormones, certain medications, and reduced nitric oxide all increase blood viscosity. Thicker blood moves slower. It struggles to reach the feet. It sits longer in the veins. This is why seniors often feel cold feet regardless of room temperature. A 75-year-old woman named Adriana from Portugal struggled with cold feet for nearly a decade. She wore socks to sleep and avoided open shoes even in summer. Only when her doctor explained that her blood had become thicker due to aging and poor circulation did she understand why warming her legs externally never helped. When she began thinning her blood naturally with circulation-supporting habits, her feet finally warmed again. Another hidden truth is that nerves themselves age, and aging nerves send weaker signals to the blood vessels. When nerves lose sensitivity, the vessels cannot dilate properly. This means the legs do not receive the message to increase blood flow even when they desperately need it. Seniors feel this as numbness, tingling, or strange buzzing sensations in the legs and feet. A 71-year-old woman named Alina from Boston learned this after years of unexplained tingling in her feet. She thought she had neuropathy, but it was nerve aging affecting circulation. Once she corrected the underlying issues, the tingling softened and her feet regained warmth. There is also a hidden hormonal reason. Once hormone levels drop after 60, especially estrogen in women and testosterone in men, the blood vessels lose their natural flexibility. These hormones play a role in circulation, vessel dilation, and fluid balance. When they decline, circulation weakens further. A 65-year-old woman named Lucia from Milan began experiencing heavy, swollen legs after menopause. She thought it was weight gain or lack of movement, but her doctor explained that her hormonal decline was directly affecting her blood flow. Once she added circulation-friendly nutrients and improved her daily routine, the heaviness eased. Another hidden truth that seniors rarely understand is that the legs are the farthest point from the heart. They require the strongest blood pressure and vessel function to receive adequate blood. Any small decline in the circulatory system affects the legs first. This is why seniors often say, "My legs feel old before the rest of me does." The legs signal circulation decline long before the heart shows symptoms. A 73-year-old man named John from Minnesota realized this only after feeling deep weakness in his legs, even though he had no heart issues. His doctor explained that leg circulation is the first system to struggle. When he improved his vessel health, his legs regained power. Now we arrive at the truth behind the drink, why it works, why seniors feel such fast relief, and why it creates results when pills, creams, and exercises fail. The drink seniors use contains natural compounds that increase nitric oxide, open blood vessels, thin the blood, reduce inflammation, and strengthen the calf pump. It supports the body in ways that medications cannot. While pills may treat symptoms, this drink targets underlying causes. When seniors boost nitric oxide, their arteries relax and widen. When they use circulation-supporting nutrients, their blood becomes smoother and easier to pump. When they add anti-inflammatory ingredients, the vessel walls become healthier. When they hydrate the body and supply minerals, the nerves and muscles regain proper function. The drink works because it supports the biological systems that aging disrupts. It helps the endothelium recover. It helps arteries expand. It helps blood move freely. It helps calf muscles pump more powerfully. Seniors feel the difference within days because the legs finally receive something they have been deprived of: sufficient oxygen. A 70-year-old man named Thomas from Ireland said that after using the drink consistently, his legs felt alive again. The burning sensation disappeared. His steps felt lighter. He could walk farther than he had in years. He finally slept through the night without cramps. A 66-year-old woman named Stephanie from Germany said the drink warmed her feet for the first time in 5 years. Her doctor told her that her circulation had improved significantly. She said it felt like blood was finally traveling to places it had forgotten. A senior woman from Spain named Isabel said she no longer needed to stop halfway during her morning walks. She said, "My legs felt like they finally woke up." These experiences are the result of a simple truth: circulation can be restored. And the drink works because it gives seniors what their aging bodies urgently need: healthy vessels, stronger blood flow, increased nitric oxide, hydrated blood, improved muscle pumping, and reduced inflammation. That is why seniors all over Europe and the US report lighter steps, warmer feet, smoother walking, fewer cramps, and more strength. They did not fix their legs, they fixed their blood flow. And once blood flow returns, everything changes. When seniors finally reach a point where their legs feel heavy, cold, or weak every single day, they begin searching for anything that brings relief. They try warm baths, leg massages, stretching, pain gels, extra socks, ointments, foot creams, and even circulation machines they see advertised on television. For a moment, some of these things help, but the relief fades quickly because the problem is not on the surface. The problem is deep inside the blood vessels, inside the muscles, inside the nerves, and inside the blood itself. This is why seniors over 60 benefit so much when they discover the drink that naturally increases blood flow. Because for the first time, they are supporting the inside of their bodies, not just treating symptoms externally. And this drink is not a quick fix or a miracle. It is simply the combination of natural ingredients the aging body desperately needs to reopen the blood vessels, relax the arteries, increase nitric oxide, thin the blood slightly, reduce inflammation, and strengthen the calf pump so blood can rise smoothly through the legs. The drink works for seniors because it delivers circulation-supporting compounds in a form the body absorbs quickly. Many older adults have slower digestion and weaker stomach acid, which means supplements in capsules often dissolve slowly or incompletely. But when these same nutrients are consumed in liquid form, they absorb directly into the bloodstream, creating faster, more noticeable results. Seniors like Thomas, the 70-year-old from Ireland, noticed a difference in just days because the drink reached his blood vessels quickly. He described it as a warmth returning to his legs, something he had been missing for years. The base of the drink includes natural ingredients known for their ability to open blood vessels and improve nitric oxide production. Seniors often hear about nitric oxide boosters from athletes, but they never realize their bodies need them even more. Athletes need nitric oxide for performance. Seniors need it for survival, for walking, sleeping without cramps, warming the feet, and keeping the legs strong enough to carry them each day. The drink works because it replenishes the nitric oxide that the aging body no longer produces in sufficient amounts. When these compounds enter the bloodstream, the arteries relax. They widen. They soften. Blood flows more easily. The legs finally receive the oxygen they have been missing. This is why seniors feel lighter steps, fewer cramps, and more warmth only days after starting the drink. Another key aspect of the drink is its anti-inflammatory power. Inflammation is one of the main forces that tighten arteries, block oxygen, and stiffen the muscles of the legs. When the drink begins reducing inflammation from the inside, the vessel walls soften. The chronic swelling around the ankles decreases. The burning pressure in the calves fades. The legs feel less painful when standing and less stiff in the morning. A 68-year-old retired schoolteacher named Greta in Sweden experienced severe swelling for years before she discovered this drink. Her doctor told her that inflammation was restricting her blood flow. Within 2 weeks of using the drink daily, her swelling decreased dramatically. She said her legs felt lighter than they had in decades. Another powerful element of the drink is its ability to gently thin the blood by improving hydration and supporting the body's natural enzymes. Seniors often unknowingly have thicker blood because they drink less water, experience stress, consume salty foods, or take medications that affect fluid balance. Thick blood moves slowly. It struggles to reach the lower legs. But when the drink enters the body, it restores hydration at a cellular level, making the blood smoother and easier to pump. This smoother blood flow reduces the pressure in the veins and allows oxygen to reach the deepest tissues of the calves and feet. One of the most touching transformations comes from Alina, the 71-year-old from Boston, who had lived with years of tingling and numbness in her feet. She felt embarrassed wearing open shoes because her skin always looked pale and cold. But after using the drink for 3 weeks, she noticed her toes warming for the first time in years. She felt normal sensation returning. Her doctor later confirmed that her circulation had improved. Another reason the drink works so well is because it supports nerve function. Seniors often think that numbness or tingling in the legs is permanent or caused only by neuropathy. But in many cases, the nerves are simply undernourished. They receive too little blood, too little oxygen, and too little support. When the drink delivers oxygen-rich blood to these nerves, they begin functioning more normally. The strange pins and needles sensations fade. The buzzing feeling in the feet softens. Seniors feel steadier while standing. They feel more confidence with each step. One of the most important ways the drink helps seniors is by strengthening the calf pump. When the muscles of the calves receive better blood flow, they regain strength. Strong calves push blood upward with every step, and when the calf pump becomes active again, the legs feel less swollen, less heavy, and more energetic. A 69-year-old man named William from Denmark suffered nightly cramps for years because his calf pump was weak. After adding the drink into his routine, his muscles regained strength. The cramps nearly disappeared, and his nights became peaceful again. Senior women especially benefit from the drink because of hormonal shifts after menopause that tighten blood vessels. When the drink improves circulation, their legs regain warmth, color, and comfort. A woman named Lucia from Florence struggled with heavy, swollen legs after menopause. She tried creams, ointments, and foot massages, but nothing worked long-term. Once she began drinking a circulation-boosting mixture each morning, the heaviness lifted. Her legs felt alive again. The drink also supports the microcirculation, the tiny capillaries that deliver blood to the surface of the skin. When these tiny vessels reopen, seniors see visible improvements. Their skin color improves. Their feet become warmer. The dullness of their lower legs fades. The dry, papery texture softens. Many seniors describe this as their legs coming back to life. Using the drink correctly is essential for full benefits. Seniors who take it at the same time each day create a rhythm their body understands. Morning works well because the drink enters the bloodstream before inflammation peaks. Evening also works well because circulation improves during sleep. What matters most is consistency. The body heals slowly and steadily. Each day builds upon the last. Seniors who use the drink daily see lasting results, not just quick moments of improvement. Another important detail is pairing the drink with light movement. Seniors do not need heavy exercise. A 10-minute walk after the drink helps distribute the nutrients through the bloodstream. It activates the calf pump. It increases the warming effect in the legs. A retired gentleman named Howard from Chicago did just this. He took the drink each morning and followed it with a slow walk around his neighborhood. He felt stronger week by week, and his legs stopped swelling by afternoon. Hydration is also crucial. Seniors who drink too little water slow their progress. But drinking a glass of water alongside the circulation drink enhances absorption and improves blood flow dramatically. When seniors combine the drink with consistency, hydration, and gentle movement, their legs begin transforming. Cold feet warm, swelling decreases, cramps fade, walking becomes easier, sleep improves, and the sense of heaviness they once believed was just aging disappears. The drink does not give seniors new legs, it gives them new blood flow. And once the blood flow returns, everything changes. Every step becomes easier. Every night becomes more restful. Every day becomes more comfortable. Seniors rediscover a level of movement they thought was lost forever, and they finally understand that their legs were never old, they were undernourished. And with the right drink, the nourishment comes back. There comes a moment in every senior's life when they look down at their legs and wonder when things began to change. When did walking become slower? When did the stairs begin to require effort? When did their feet start feeling cold for no reason? When did cramps wake them up at night? For some, it happens at 60, for others at 70, and for some, the signs begin even earlier. But in every case, the moment someone understands the truth about circulation, the moment they realize their legs are not weak, but undersupplied, everything begins to change. This final part is about giving seniors that moment of clarity, that final piece of understanding that turns fear into confidence and discomfort into hope. One of the greatest transformations happens when seniors finally feel the improvement inside their legs. When the drink begins working, it does not feel like magic. It feels like the body waking up. Seniors describe a quiet warmth returning to their feet. They notice their steps feel lighter. Their walks become longer. Their sleep becomes deeper because the nighttime cramps no longer pull them awake. They feel steady when getting out of bed. The constant heaviness that once held them back begins to lift slowly. And the most meaningful change of all, they begin trusting their legs again. Trust is the foundation of freedom for seniors. Without trust in their legs, they limit themselves. They avoid long walks, long drives, parks, grocery stores, outings, stairs, and sometimes even social gatherings. They fear discomfort. They fear cramps. They fear losing balance. But when circulation improves, trust returns. A 74-year-old woman named Janet from Ohio said that the moment she could walk from her mailbox to her porch without stopping, she felt a piece of her life returning. It was a small victory, but it opened doors she thought were closed forever. Another senior, Liam from Ireland, had stopped walking to the local cafe because his legs always felt tight and cold. But after consistently using the drink each morning, his legs felt warmer and stronger. The first time he walked to the cafe again, he called his daughter afterward and said, "I feel like myself again." These are not small changes. These are the moments seniors live for. The emotional transformation is equally powerful. Seniors who live with poor circulation often feel discouraged and frustrated. They begin believing their body is aging faster than their spirit. They feel burdened. They feel limited. But when their legs finally respond, when circulation begins flowing again, when they feel the strength returning, something inside them shifts. They feel hopeful, they feel energized, they feel capable. They begin planning their days instead of fearing them. That is true healing, not simply physical change, but emotional freedom. The drink works because it supports the very systems that aging weakens. It reopens the arteries that have slowly stiffened. It strengthens the calf pump that has weakened over years of reduced movement. It nourishes the nerves that have lost sensitivity. It hydrates the blood so it can move freely. It reduces the inflammation that once trapped circulation. It raises nitric oxide so the vessels can open wide again. And when these systems begin functioning together, the legs feel the transformation. A 67-year-old teacher from Spain named Isabel said she used to dread waking up because her legs always felt stiff, cold, and heavy. But after using the drink consistently, she woke up one morning and realized she could walk to the kitchen without discomfort. She described the moment with tears in her eyes. "I thought this feeling was gone forever." That is the power of restoring blood flow. It gives seniors back pieces of their lives they believed were lost. Another senior from Austria, Friedrich, had difficulty walking with his grandchildren in the park. He always fell behind and needed to rest on benches. But after using the drink daily and supporting his circulation, he walked beside them easily. He said it felt like a new beginning, like life had given him another chance to enjoy simple moments. As seniors continue supporting their circulation, the benefits spread beyond the legs. Their energy improves, their balance improves, their mood improves, their confidence increases. They feel capable of walking further, standing longer, and moving freely. They feel less dependent on others. They feel more in control of their body, and that sense of independence is priceless. The message seniors must understand is simple. Poor leg circulation is not aging, it is imbalance, and imbalance can be corrected. The drink works because it supports the body in the way the body was designed to function. It does not replace medication. It does not force change. It simply gives the aging body the tools it lost over time. And that is why the results feel so natural, so gradual, and so powerful. The final advice for every senior is this: do not ignore the message your legs are sending. Heaviness, coldness, cramps, tired steps, pressure, weakness. These are signals that your circulation needs help. And once you support blood flow correctly, once you restore the inner systems that have weakened over time, you give your legs and your life a second chance. You are not losing strength. You are losing circulation, and circulation can return. This drink has changed the lives of thousands of seniors across the United States and Europe. It gave them relief, confidence, and movement again. And with consistency, hydration, and small daily habits, it can do the same for you. Your legs are not done. Your life is not slowing. Your strength is not fading. Your body is waiting for blood to flow again. And once it does, everything changes.